I'm going to make it rough on you, girls. I'm going to start with a guy who actually used to be, I believe, at one time. Didn't you used to announce the roller derbies, Bill?
Yeah. To make it clear, they were talking about the size of them. To make it, they're all about the same size, and they're all small. So I'll start with number 1 and ask, how tall are you, number 1?
4'11".
4'11". Number 3, I'll ask you. I know it appears in the program, so it's not an impolite question. What do you weigh?
102 pounds.
Now, when I announced roller derbies, I did it at the Duke long before your time, number 1, 2, and 3 put together, actually. But it was at the old Duquesne Garden in Pittsburgh, and I was the public address announcer. Now, the word pivot man, I ask this, number 2 of you. We did not have pivot men that I know of then. What does a pivot man do, besides pivot, of course?
Well, his job, he can either block or jam.
I see. Now, number 2, what are you when you're out there?
I'm a jammer.
Number 3, what does a jammer do?
A jammer scores all the points.
Number 1, how many people must a jammer pass to score 2 points?
2 people.
What if a jammer passes the whole field, number 1? I'll stay with you.
The jammer passes the whole field?
Uh-huh.
Well, then they would have the total points that they pass.
Number 2, if I put my hands on my hip when I want to jam, what does that mean?
You call the jam off.
Number 3, why would I be up to call a jam off?
Because you already scored a play, because that's the rule.
Boy, you're hot.
I remember. It only goes back 5
I saw a pivot
years.
man once at the roller derby. He pivoted several times, and do you know, before he screwed himself right into the... I didn't know whether you saw the same one, huh? All right, let's go to Kitty Carlisle.
I'm fascinated by all of this. Number 3, you are considered very small for the game, and you are a jammer,
yes.
right? Well, now, what are most jammers, what are their average sizes?
Well, they're about the size of Joan Weston, about 5'6".
Oh, I see.
5'7".
And what do they weigh?
About 175, 45.
Now, number 2, it says you're part of a team. Do you have men and women doing roller derbies at the same time?
Right, we have a men's team and a women's team.
Oh, but you don't skate at the same time?
No, not at the same time.
Only ladies with ladies and men
Ladies
with
first.
men. Number 1, how did you learn how to roller skate that well?
Well, first of all, I started off my mother. My mother taught me how to roller skate.
Was she a roller derby lady, too?
No, but she was a great fan of roller derby.
I see. And number 3, how old were you when you learned how to roller skate?
8.
And number 2, what are the prizes, or how do you get paid?
We get a base weekly salary.
Oh, you do? And then do you get extra if you win?
Yes, we do.
Is it a lot? Could I ask how much it is?
It
Or does it
depends.
depend on how good you are?
It depends on the size of the house.
Oh, I see. You get a percentage of the cake. Thank you.
All right, Kitty, thank you. We go to Bert Convey.
Thank you, Gary. Number 3, is this kind of a barnstorming thing, or are you attached to a town, a team, in town?
I don't understand.
Do you travel around the country?
Yes, we travel around the country, over 150 countries a year. We
Wow.
play 42 weeks.
Number 1, then do you travel with another team and you play that same team all the time?
No, we don't travel with them. We travel separately, but we do meet up.
You do meet the... Number 2, how much punching is really allowed? I mean, can you really smack somebody and not get a penalty for it?
No, you can't punch him. You can block him with a certain part of your body, but you can't punch him.
Well, now, on the film clip here, it looked as though there was a lot of elbowing and really slugging going on.
Well, you use your elbow, but you don't punch.
Oh, I see. You can't hit with your fist, but you can hit with your elbow. Right. Number 3, how tall is your husband? How big is he?
Well, he's 5'7". He's 160, I think.
Number 1, now, you both travel. There's 2 men's teams that travel together and 2 ladies' teams that travel together. Well, now, you get pretty used to playing against one another. Doesn't it seem that the outcome is always is never in doubt?
Is never in doubt?
Yes. I mean, if you get to know each other's weak points and so forth so well.
Yeah, but it's more like...
Saved by the buzzer. She had an answer, but we're not going to let her give it. We're going to go on to Peggy.
Number 2, if you're a jammer, who blocks while you jam on your team?
Usually the team captain.
Thank you. Number 3, what's a whip start?
Oh, that's when about 3 or 4 more players hold on each other's hand and they round. They bring you
I
around.
cracked the whip.
How many teams are in the league? Number 1, or don't you have league, or is it not a league?
Well, it's not actually a league, no.
Well, what city do you play for?
I play for San Francisco.
And number 2, do you play for Oakland?
I play for San Francisco.
I see. Number 3, is a helmet a compulsory thing in your game?
Yes, it is.
I should think so.
Yes.
Also, someone take a
Okay,
splinter
thanks
off.
all. You're going to have a tough go around here. This is a hard one to figure out. You got to mark your ballots for number 1 or number 2, or number 3. And we pay $50 as usual for each wrong vote, $500 if none of the votes is correct. And Bill Cullen, old announcer, starts.
But gee, all those girls knew all the answers.
Yeah, they're great.
Actually, I might have been, maybe I was conned. We are C-O-N-N-E-D. Conned. We'll know in a moment. While I was asking number 3 a question and number 1 a question, number 2 kept reacting like she knew what the answers were supposed to be. So I voted on the fact that she looked wise while I was asking that. That's all.
All righty. She looked wise, so we got a 2. And we got Kitty Carlisle.
They were all marvelous. I really have nothing to base it on, but I voted for number 2. I think it was some of your questions that...
All right, we got 2 2s. And Bert Convey, you going to go along?
No, number 3, I had to count up how many were going to whip start. She went 1, 2, 3, because she's always in the front scoring points. So I figured that was a very, what am I saying? Number 3.
And in the event, you go for a 3. And Peggy?
I really don't know beans about a roller derby, but I thought that number 2 was real cool and knew the answers. They all knew the answers, though. I didn't know any answers, so...
Okay, that's the third time this week that we've had 3 similar votes and 1 outsider. Let's find out about how it goes. Will the real Carol Meyer please stand up? Hey! Girls, you almost got him. After this show, you ought to throw a block on Bert Convey there. Let's find out about our imposters. Number 1, what is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Cordelia Gross, and I'm an executive secretary at New York Life.
And number 3, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Irene Gandy, and I work in the theatrical press office of Howard Alley.
Good. Carol Meyer, we never did really truthfully establish how much you weigh, if it's not a rude question.
Right now, I weigh 98 pounds. I gained 2 pounds.
She gained 2 pounds and she weighs 98. Isn't that revolting? You're just as cute as you can be, all of you, and thank you very much for being with us here on To Tell the Truth.